About a week ago, I was reading a Reddit post discussing whether AI was about to steal everyone's jobs. And it dawned on me that is it possible for ChatGPT to steal the job of a good dating coach? Now, as a dating coach for 17 years with a whole bunch of experience behind him, my gut instinct is no way, no how. But I am a very avid ChatGPT user. I use it for a lot of things that a lot of people haven't thought about. So what I did was I created a list of tasks that I thought ChatGPT might be able to help with, or ways that it might help someone get better at their dating skills. And I went through each one and I tried it out. I tested it against the type of advice I would give, the kind of advice another expert might give, how well does it perform, and I gave it a ranking out of 10. I'll create chapter markers so you can jump ahead if you want to see it, but spoiler alert, I've been overall really impressed. So let's see how it went in each individual task. So the first thing I wanted to test was, can it act as a personal stylist? This is something I hadn't thought about much recently, but what I did was I took a photo of myself. Now, here's the photo I put up. Spoiler alert, I wanted to make it not a good photo. I just wore really regular casual clothes that I wear when I'm like sitting at the computer working all day against a blank wall. I wasn't actually looking for advice on how I should change what I'm currently wearing. I was looking for it to give me ideas on what I could wear to look really good, to match my body shape, my skin color, all this kind of stuff. And so here's what ChatGPT said in response. It suggests a structured fitted top, slim but not tight, thicker materials. It helps broaden the shoulders and cover the torso area. Casual button-down shirts, a great roll at the sleeves to accentuate the forearms. Darker, solid or micro pattern shirts. So it makes a whole bunch of suggestions to me, as well as how I should groom, whether I should wear watches, what sort of footwear I should be wearing. The advice that it gave was I felt a little bit generic. It was a good, solid feedback. The advice here is like, it's the first thing that you should know when trying to dress for your body shape is these things. What colors to wear, what general styles of shirt look good on you. This is good basic advice. It's not very detailed though. I asked it to dress me in an example of something it thought would look good on me. Now this photo, it doesn't look like me a lot, but it doesn't matter. It's roughly my skin color, my hairstyle, my everything else. This outfit is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly decent outfit. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It looks okay. It looks very, okay. I then asked it, what could I wear to look better at night? What would make me look great at night? It made this suggestion here. Again, it's okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's not terrible. It's certainly very passable. I asked it for something a little bit lighter in color because my experience has been going out at night. If you wear too dark colors, you blend in too easily. Lighter shirts I've always preferred, or lighter colored blazers to help me stand out. I just always found that helps a little bit. I asked it for that. This was the example it gave here. Again, okay, but not amazing. My thoughts on using ChatGPT as a styling tool: it gives good feedback when you show it a photo of yourself wearing your clothes. If you ask it for what you could wear to look better, it will give you solid generic advice, meaning it's kind of going to give you a 6.5 result. You're going to look okay. You're not going to stand out. It's not going to make you unique. It's not going to give you a swagger in what you wear. And to be honest, rather than go to ChatGPT, you could just go to whatever clothing store and ask the girls who work there, what do you think would look good on me? And they'll kind of dress you the same way, if I'm honest. So I give it a 6.5 out of 10, not amazing, okay. And certainly some guys I've coached should have done that, tried that first, rather than coming out and doing coaching without, like thinking about how they're dressing. So if you're totally lost on how to dress and how to style yourself, ChatGPT is a good free first option, but certainly not better than other free options like asking people at the clothing store for advice. Now, the second task that I sat ChatGPT is something that is not a recent thing. I've tested ChatGPT on this a few months ago now, and it has absolutely blown me away. And that is social skills practice. So when you're trying to practice the what I always call the unholy trinity, which is small talk, banter, and rapport. When you're trying to practice your social skills, can you practice with ChatGPT in a way that will make you better when you actually go and start talking to real women in the real world? I'll tell you right now, before I even show the examples, 100% yes, over and over yes. I make all my clients, I created a custom GPT for this very job, and I send all my clients to it. And in a little bit, I'm going to send you guys a link where you can actually check it out yourself. So that's going to come up in a few minutes, so keep watching so you don't miss out that. But let's have a look at some examples. Hey, please give me a situation to practice teasing. So I just moved into a new apartment this weekend. I swear I only picked it because it has a cute little balcony where I can sit, drink overpriced oat milk lattes, and pretend I'm in a French film. The problem? I have no idea how to assemble furniture. I spent 3 hours trying to put together a tiny IKEA table and somehow ended up with 6 screws left over and one angry-looking Allen wrench glaring at me from across the room. So what I meant to do when I'm using this is think of a way to tease. Now, if I can't think of a way to tease, I can tell it. I can say, hey, I'm struggling to think of a good way to tease here. Could you give me some ideas? So then it says, all right, totally fair. Potential hooks. Well, I picked an apartment based on aesthetic vibes. I'm hopeless at furniture assembly. IKEA defeated me. I romanticize things. So these are areas where you could tease. So it says teasing angles. It says you could point out the gap between what I want and what I can do. The example. So basically, you're living your Parisian dream with a balcony full of furniture that looks like it survived a small earthquake. Or, oh, très chic, except for the part where your coffee table is more abstract than the furniture. Okay. Gives another example of exaggeration. Wait, are you saying IKEA beat you in a 1v1? That's like losing dance-off to your printer. That's a decent tease. The next one, 6 screws left over. I'm impressed. Most people only forget 4. You're an overachiever. That's also a good tease. The third option was absurdity, role reversal. Honestly, I think the Allen wrench is just jealous of your aesthetic vision. It was never meant to be Parisian. Not a bad answer either. The last one, IKEA furniture and oat milk lattes. You're just one spontaneous baguette away from full-blown chaos. Not bad either. It's a little bit more witty than a tease, but nonetheless. So you can see when you can't think of an answer, it helps step you through ideas and ways that you can tease. So when I'm trying to work on my teasing, it's really quite good at both helping me when I can't think of something, stepping me through the thoughts about how I could look for a tease, the little hooks, and giving me examples. It works really well as well with small talk. So a lot of guys really struggle with that. They approach a girl and they're struggling to know what to say next. They run out of things to say and it's just really awkward. They get these awkward silences and then they leave. It's a very common problem for a lot of my guys. Now, I have a structure that I give guys, which is basically, I can give it to you here for free. Anytime you ask a question of a woman, you want to be in a habit of relating to what she just said, ideally in the form of a small story or anecdote. And you want to answer the question you just asked her yourself, ideally in the form of a small story or anecdote. So getting in the habit of telling stories after every question, even if it's a boring question like, what do you do for work? So I have also a trained GPT to practice this with me. So when I say, ask it a question, this is a different GPT. What did you do yesterday? Hey, yesterday was such a good Saturday. I slept in a bit, which felt amazing. Like that kind of sleep where you wake up confused about what year it is. Then I hit a farmer's market with a friend, grabbed some peaches that were so juicy they dripped down my wrist. Later, we went to a little outdoor wine bar and I ended up joining this random table of people playing Cards Against Humanity. Total strangers, but we were crying, laughing, and by the end, felt like a mini summer adventure, you know? Okay, so now it's my turn, and it tells me what to do. Remember the question, relate, and answer. Cool. So I wrote in response, oh, Jesus, I have some amazing memories with Cards Against Humanity. Well, this one New Year's Eve, we had a newbie to the game who absolutely lost her shit at everyone on the table because we couldn't stop giggling at one of the wildly inappropriate answers. She got so mad she stormed off and refused to spend the evening with us anymore. My Saturday, so that's my relate, right? My Saturday was actually much more event-free than yours. I went for a walk on the beach with my dog, did some journaling while she splashed in the water, then binge-watched the rest of Dark on Netflix. Okay, so 2 little stories and anecdotes in relation. It's a much better way to engage in small talk than just giving her one-worded answers yourself. Tip for leveling up. Try leaning into the emotion a bit more. Like, how did journaling at the beach feel? Or what was your reaction to finishing Dark, the TV series? That tiny layer adds depth and makes your story even more engaging. That is really positive feedback. Yes, there was no emotion in my story. Had to add a little bit of that in there, it would have pulled her in more to the story that I was telling. So it can give really good quality feedback when you're not doing a good enough job. It can give you ideas on how to improve. Now, what's doubly great when you're doing this social practice is you start by typing. It gives you a moment to stop and think, you know, how am I supposed to tease? How could I tease? How can I talk more rather than just give simple answers? But when you're getting better at it, you can then have a voice chat with the GPT, right? So you can literally have a conversation. She'll give you a scenario. You've got to think on the fly how you could tease, how you could relate and answer. So you're literally practicing with someone back and forth endlessly, and someone who, can practice for hours and get really good. And I tell guys, if you practice, and let's say you need to be better at teasing and banter, if you just practice this for 20, 30 minutes a day, every day, in a week or two, you'd be seriously noticeably better at bantering with girls in the real world as well. And so as I said, it's mandatory when I'm coaching guys now. They must use this system because it just works. So this is certainly one area where I give ChatGPT a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. It's just literally off the charts. Now, if you'd like to try the banter practice, I'm going to go ahead and throw in a link that you can click down below. I click that link and I will just give me your email address and your name, and I'll send you access to my teasing, custom-built large language model. You can go ahead and use that, play with it, learn, see what it's like to practice. Try verbally. Can you do it live? Can you banter? What's the feedback like? Because it's really amazing stuff. And hell, thanks for watching my video, and that's my little gift to you. So the next skill I wanted to test out was text game feedback. What's the quality of feedback can give you about your text game? So I took a conversation here from one of my clients. Talking to a girl named Steph, and it's just a section of the conversation. Where he says, I feel like I have some big shoes to fill. You say you shop at Aldi, then Woolies, now Coles. I'm beginning to think you spend your entire day in the supermarket. She said, I mean, Aldi isn't a regular occurrence and not for groceries, mostly Woolies, but sometimes Coles if I need a baguette, ha ha ha. He said, I'm going to assume you studied something related to English, considering you're obsessed with the Oxford comma. Ha ha ha. It's the other way around for me. I usually go to Aldi for my shopping, but Coles when I want to buy apples, oranges, bananas. And then he corrected himself with his spelling of apples. All right, I don't think you got that joke. Anyways, what's on for the weekend? So you can see this isn't really a very smooth conversation snippet. You're making playful banter about her shopping habits and slipping in a grammar tease. She responds fairly neutrally, and then you toss in your own version of the same joke. You close with, I don't think you got that joke anyway. Now, what needs improvement? 1, over-explaining kills tension. Keep your replies flirtatious or absurd. Avoid mirroring her practical tone too much. Escalate the humor and throw in a wild card and keep it charged. 2, correcting your own typo mid-flow means a loss of momentum. So let small typos ride when they're genuinely confusing. Unless they're genuinely confusing. Confident men don't obsessively correct themselves in mid-joke. It breaks the flow and is overly precious. Yes. 3rd thing, calling out a missed joke comes across as needy. Yes. All right, I don't think you got that joke. This is the biggest misstep. It shifts you from playful to insecure, as if you're fishing for validation or attention. Fix. If the joke misses, just pivot or double down playfully, not defensively. For example, that joke clearly flew under the radar. I'll adjust my sense of humor to Woolies standard next time, right? So really good feedback on what he wrote. It then says, you started playful and in control, but her flat responses, justifying her supermarket habits, sucked you into her boring frame. You followed her down instead of leading. In the future, when her reply is meh, respond in a way that flips it into something ridiculous or unexpected. You go to Woolies for a baguette? That's the most elegant sentence I've ever heard in a Coles parking lot. Okay. So it then says suggested rewrite of your last few lines. Calls for a baguette. That's next level elite grocery energy. Do you wear a beret when you go shop, or is it more of a hoodie and judgmental stare vibe? Really fun, playful tease there. Overall grade B-. This feedback, to me, is really high level. From a few sentences, I think ChatGPT nailed it. What he did wrong, what he should have done better, what he could do better in future, what would have made this conversation more fun. I mean, I don't know that I could give more advice on that particular snippet right there, if I'm honest. So the feedback, I was amazed. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It was, I guess, less generic or less boring. I think it really hits the nail on the head, at least with I've tried 4 examples. I've given you 2. I tried 4 or 5 of them, and they've all been really quite impressive. I'd give this 8.5 or a 9 out of 10 because if you're using online dating and you're trying to work out how to make your conversations better, upload them to ChatGPT. You're going to get 80%, 90% of the quality of what I could give you. If I'm going to be honest, it's really solid. Now, the 4th thing that I tested was what I call, what do I do in this situation? So this comes up a lot for a lot of guys. You're dating, a woman says something unexpected, she does something you didn't know what it meant. What's happening? Where am I? Does she hate me? Does she like me? What should I do right now? This is a really common kind of theme that I see come up. I have a client who has started a casual relationship with women. She's asked him whether he was seeing other people, and he said yes. She said that she doesn't like that and would want it to be exclusive. He said okay. Now she's friendly when they're together, but she's very focused on her work and study and not giving him much time. She was also slow to respond to his messages often, but at the same time, when they were together, she seemed very happy to see him. How should he interpret this? How should he behave with her? He doesn't want to be exclusive if he doesn't get the affection that ought to come with it. ChatGPT said, your client has walked into a classic imbalance of emotional investment. The real issue here is exclusivity. It's exclusivity without reciprocity. Let's unpack what's going on. It says, 1, she wants commitment on her terms, not shared terms. So her request for exclusivity wasn't matched with a change in her behavior. No more availability, affection, or effort. That's a red flag. 2, she's likely feeling ambivalent. Her warmth when they're together is real, but inconsistent effort outside those moments signals she's emotionally distracted, not prioritizing the relationship, and possibly enjoying the benefits without the responsibilities. 3, he gave up his leverage too early. By agreeing to exclusivity before receiving consistent affection and connection, he flipped the frame. She's now the selector, and he is trying to earn what should have been part of the deal. Such great feedback. This is not about punishing her. It's about reframing the relationship terms to protect his self-respect without drama. Here's what he should do. 1, mirror her energy, gently but clearly. If she takes 6 hours to respond, he doesn't need to match exactly, but stop being instantly responsive. 2, have one calm, non-needy clarity conversation. Something like, hey, I'm enjoying our time together. When we agreed to be exclusive, I took that seriously. I'm not looking for constant attention, but I do want to feel like I'm in something emotionally mutual. I get that work and study are priorities, but if this isn't something you're not feeling fully, that's totally okay too. I'd just rather be honest than feeling like I'm guessing. Which I like. I call this shit or get off the toilet. It's a great strategy. It's literally throwing it at her. I'm cool if you don't want me, but I want this. And if you don't want to give it to me, that's fine. We can both go our separate ways. It's a very non-needy but strong way to say this is the emotional investment that I want from you. Be willing to walk if the energy stays one-sided. Here's what he should not do. Don't chase affection. Don't play passive-aggressive games, and don't assume her good behavior in person is enough. Yeah, what can I do? Fantastic feedback, fantastic advice. If you've got questions about situations you're unsure of, again, I say ask ChatGPT. It's giving really solid answers here. It's not being overly like the woman's always right. It's not being overly anti-woman either. So far, it's tracking a really good midway on these questions that are being asked of it. The next category that I wanted to test ChatGPT out on was online dating profile feedback. So if I upload my or your or someone's online dating profile, is it going to give me feedback on how to fix it? What photos work, what photos don't work, and yeah, what photos I need to put in there. So the first thing I tried was I uploaded a profile of mine. It's a profile I created to purposely create a bad profile that I made to make a video ages ago and run some testing. So I purposely uploaded this rubbish profile, and let's have a look at the feedback that it gives me about it. It says, overall impressions. Right now, this profile screams nice, quirky, probably harmless, but maybe awkward and maybe a little bit chaotic. Sounds about right. There's zero sexual presence, no confidence conveyed. Most photos are poorly lit, low quality, and give off a slightly unkempt or indecisive vibe. Brilliant. If a woman's baseline swipe criteria is, would I enjoy sitting across from this guy for a drink? This doesn't pass that test yet. Great. Photo number 1, weak opener, low effort, slightly tight expression, no lighting awareness. The bed in the background, especially unmade, feels still lives with roommates, in brackets. Likely take, this feels lazy. Good. Plain seat photo, casual but not flattering, bad lighting, angle compresses his face, slouching makes him look passive. Brilliant. Headdress and squatting, big red flag. Wearing a Native American headdress is culturally insensitive and might come across as clueless at best, offensive at worst. Brilliant. Or you can read through these. I'll leave these up, but this is really fantastic feedback. And it says what needs to change. Cut out photos 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Basically all of them except for one. Yes, that's nearly all of them, and they're not doing him any favors. What to keep? Photo 5, the bird on the shoulders. Charming, unique, and lighthearted. What to add? A clean, confident headshot, one body shot, one social photo, or one lifestyle image. Playing guitar, dancing, hiking. I mean, to me, that's solid feedback. It's basically saying you have a rubbish profile, which that is a rubbish profile. You've got a rubbish profile. You need to fix it. Here's how to fix it. Here's what you need to replace those images with. Here's why the ones you've got are bad. What more can I ask for from giving feedback about a profile, right? So overall, I think it's about an 8.5 for feedback on your Tinder, Hinge, whatever, Bumble bio. It's giving good feedback. If you're trying to work out how women perceiving me, I think it's doing a pretty solid job. Like, use your intuition. If it gets something wildly wrong, be like, I disagree. But if you followed all its advice, I think 95% of guys would end up with a better profile than they started with. And it's, free again. So that's really positive. The 6th thing I tested was online dating first message advice. So you see a profile, you think, crap, what am I going to write to her? And this is a really critical part with online dating because, as most of you know, it's easy to get matches, but it's actually quite hard to get replies. So making a really great effort in your first message improves your response rate dramatically because most guys write really rubbish first messages. So let's see how it does with the examples that I give it. So here we can see a profile of a woman. Now, normally speaking, I might upload all of her photos at once. I just didn't have easy access to full female profiles right now. But I uploaded just once. That's all that ChatGPT had to go on. It said, based on her profile, Jessica is clearly presenting herself as emotionally mature, self-reflective, and craving a meaningful connection. But she also leads with a mirror selfie, so there's some playful contrast between her words and her image. Good catch, ChatGPT. Here's a playful opener that flirts with that contrast without being sleazy. Message 1. You've got old soul looking for depth in your bio and cute troublemaker who steals hoodies in that mirror pic. So tell me, which one I'm actually talking to? This was a tricky profile to try to come up with a good tease. I probably could have done better on my own. I've seen ChatGPT do better in the past. But okay, it gave usable teases way better than anything most guys write. Here's a second example I looked at. Her name was Kirsty. She wrote, just looking for someone cool to hang out with, me and my dog, and do some fun stuff. So she's a surfer chickie. Lots of those where I live. It said, Kirsty's profile is fun, outdoorsy, lighthearted, and emoji-driven. She's clearly after someone chill who loves sunshine, dogs, surfing, road trips, and tacos. You'll want to match your energy with playful, upbeat openers that show you're in her lane without sounding generic. Not bad. Opener 1, the interview question. Important question. On a road trip with beers, dogs, tacos, and beach vibes, are you the let's blast music and freestyle type or the I packed us snacks and wet wipes type? Again, better than what most guys, 80%, 90% of guys are writing as a first message. But I don't love it. I think you can do better. Opener 2, the dog lead-in. Your dog and I are going to get along great. The real question is, will you keep up with us? I like that angle. Opener 3, the food first flirt. Okay, so tacos and beers by the beach with a dog in tow sounds dangerously like my idea of a perfect date. Do I need to bring anything or just myself and sunscreen? Opener 4. You had me at surfboard, sunshine, and tacos. Let's skip the small talk. Tell me something wildly unexpected about you. No. The dog lead-in is better. And any time that I've done this in the past with other clients where I'm looking for better teasers, I take one that I kind of like and I ask for more like it or I ask for more examples. So it's not perfect, I'm finding. When it's trying to give me first line teasers, it'll always do better than most guys. Will it do as well as I could do? No, still not. When it comes to really high level teasing, if you want that perfect wham, hits the profile right on the nose tease and gets it like a solid example. No, I'd say it hits it 80% of the time, not 100% of the time. It's still impressive, so I'd still give it about, let's say, an 8 out of 10 or a 7.5 maybe for first teasers, first lines to give based on profiles. I have experience of doing better in the past when I give it multiple photos to work off. But there you have it. If you want it to give you great teasers, sometimes you've got to push and prod and not just go with its first answers. That's been my experience. So it's not perfect, but very usable. The second last category that I tested it for is an interesting one because it's social media feedback. In other words, can I show it my social media and get it to give me feedback on how I could make that better? Better for women who are going to look at it, more attractive, more appealing, what's not working, what is working, what does it say about me, and what photos do I need to add in? So this was great because I don't really use Instagram. Not personally, I have a School of Attraction Instagram. My personal one, I really don't use it much. It's like a chat tool for friends who use Instagram and not Facebook, really. So I don't have much good on there. But I uploaded some screenshots of my photos, like, you know, the thumbnails of a bunch of my photos. And I asked it, these are photos of my Reddit profile. Give me some feedback on how it comes across and how I could style it to look better to women who look me up there. It said, a first impressions vibe. Smart, worldly, grounded, but a little unfocused visually and slightly underselling your presence. You're giving off explorer, lifestyle vibe, grounded masculinity, low ego, no showboating. But also not instantly compelling to a woman who's skimming your profile. No clear emotional through line or cohesive aesthetic. Some posts are visually bland, lack context, or feel random. How a woman might read this? Looks like a nice guy, seems well-traveled, outdoorsy. His friends, dogs, maybe a girlfriend. Looks interesting, but I can't quite figure what he's about. What's holding it back? A lot of scenery and filler without context, park benches, empty hallways, out of focus shots, blurry motion. These are actually videos of my drone flying stuff, but you can't know that from the photos. A visual hierarchy is scattered, no clear hero photo, most eye-catching shots are buried mid-grid instead of top row. Some confusion about relationship status, because it's got a picture of me kissing my fiance on it, so obviously that's going to make that ambiguous. Step 1, reorder your top 9. So start with a strong solo. So it's telling you how to reorder them. Then step 2, it's telling me which ones to get rid of, which are low impact or hurting me. Step 3, what kinds of photos I want to try to get there to add impact, and how to caption some of those images. Okay feedback. It's not bad. I would give this a 6.5 out of 10. I'm not ultra blown away by it, but if you just want feedback on is it a good one, are women going to love it or not, that I think it's great for. But you're going to have to think of in your own head about how to make it better. So looking for feedback, yes. Is my profile hurting you? It's going to tell you. But ways to improve, I think it's got a little way to go yet. The last thing I wanted to test is, I know a lot of guys, they are off the online dating apps and they want to start reaching out to women on through the DMs and stuff. That's been going on for a while, but I wanted to see how ChatGPT would go. First of all, reading what a woman's like, what is her personality actually like from her photos, and then how could you message her? So the first thing I asked it was, here are 3 photos of a woman I like on Instagram. They're actually photos of her profile. Can you tell me a little bit about her personality and perhaps how I could grab her attention in her direct messages? It says what her profile projects. I think this is really accurate if you've seen her photos. High self-expression and sexual agency. Crop tops, lingerie, dancing, bold poses, tattoos. Creative and performer identity. Dance, nightlife, stage presence, choreography vibe. Social dominance. She's often the center frame or surrounded by people. Nonconformist attitude. Red, pink hair, alternative styling, edgy fashion, bold captions. Feminine mischief meets chaotic fun. She is likely used to a lot of male attention, attracted to confidence, authenticity, and a sense of play. Repelled by guys who act intimidated, overly polite, or pedestalize her. Now, spoiler alert, I know this girl. I'm not actually trying to pick her up. I know this girl not super well. I think we've met twice in my life, but you know, I've had dinner with her. I've had long chats with her. So I know her, just not super well. And it's kind of got the nail on the head for the kind of chick she is, for what I know. So it read her really well. It says that if you're too polite, too eager, too logical, she'll likely ignore it and leave you unseen. She's not looking for validation. She's looking for a vibe. I think she's looking for validation too, to some degree. But anyway, let's move on. How to grab her attention in the DMs. Okay, number 1, don't chase, orbit. So start by not acting like you're trying to get anything. Don't treat her like the prize. Treat her like an interesting character in your world. One you're observing with curiosity, not admiration. Think, I haven't figured you out yet, not I'm dying to be chosen. 2, become a familiar presence. React to stories occasionally, not with heart eyes, but with something witty or observational. For example, if she's twerking, you could write, "This is either confidence or blackmail material. I haven't decided yet, wink." Great. Comment on posts strategically, not every one, ideally one in every 4 or 5. Aim for playful, intelligent, or dry humor, something she doesn't get from thirsty guys. In other words, tease her. Occasionally reply late, occasionally or unpredictably. Signal you're social and selective. 3. Show her you're a social asset. These women often crave fun energy they can vibe with, not just one-on-one intimacy. If you post group fun, dancing, interesting environments in your photos, not just selfies, you leading or hosting events, interactions with other women who clearly like you but aren't romantic, she'll start to see you as a guy who gets her world and is socially competent. That raises attraction without you having to say a thing. Smart, good advice. Use callbacks and mini inside jokes. If she posts a wild meme or dancing video and you DM something like, "You've convinced me, next dance battle I'm bringing back up." Then a week later, you reference it again. This is the move you'd hit just to psych me out before starting a dance battle, isn't it? I know what I was trying to say. I didn't like its examples. The idea was good. The examples were terrible. The escalation moment, when timing feels right. Don't ask for a date. Instead, drop an idea that's already in motion. "You strike me as someone who's probably never lost a dare. I have a dare. Let's test that." Or, "I'm doing a cool activity with some friends this weekend. You'd either thrive or absolutely start a fire. Want to roll through?" I give this a 7 out of 10. I think these are good strategies. I mean, if you want to start getting attention of women online, doing the slow burn, teasing them on photos, giving them a bit of banter, making sure you have a profile that's likely to impress a woman like that. And again, you can use ChatGPT to do that, right? Here's my profile. Here's her profile. What photos is she likely to want to see in my profile that's going to attract her? It seems to do that very well. Understanding that whole process, I think it guides you through it. And again, it's a better guide than what most guys have. I could do better, but it's solid. It's better than most. Okay, so that was a really long video. And if you're still watching, congratulations, you've made it here toward the end. Is it better than a dating coach? No, that probably shouldn't surprise you. Large language models have come a long way, but they're not there yet. But I'll say this. If you don't have the money to invest in a dating coach and you want to get better with women, it is the best option. Better than everything else. Better than the answers I see in Reddit groups, better than the answers I see in pickup communities. It's quality. It's quality because it doesn't give you the rubbish that you see in most other places. It doesn't always hit the mark perfectly. But if you followed everything it says word for word, you would be doing better than you are. Almost every guy would be. The feedback it gives, the level of support it can provide, you can ask it any question you like. These are just some very core examples. You absolutely should be using it if you're not. I know that most guys are not. When it comes to practicing social skills, the critical ones that every guy is lacking when they're struggling with women, oh my God, really, use it for that. If you haven't already, check out my teasing AI. The link is in the comments below, and get that, because you can get really good at small talk. You can get really good at building rapport and banter and sexual escalation without ever having to talk to an actual woman. You can actually get those skills built up. You've never been able to do that before. So now is the first time in history that you've been able to do that. So I'm well impressed. As always, guys, I'd love to know, is there any way that you've been using ChatGPT or other large language models for dating that I haven't suggested here? I'd love to hear them from you, but really, it's at that point where you should be using it. It's a shortcut. It's a hack. It's easy. And I'm impressed. I really am. I think it can do maybe 70 or 80% of what I can do. And that's good considering it's free, or what is it, like 20 bucks a month or something, to have unlimited use. So get stuck in. If you love this video, as always, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell icon because that helps me a ton. As always, guys, I look forward to reading your comments. I look forward to having you on my future videos very soon. Take care.